guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Abby, and today I'm going to be doing another one of those crochet and chat videos. I really liked how the last one turned out. This time I have different subject matter. I don't have a book of the subject matter, but I do have reference pictures. I'm not sure how involved Kratos is going to be today, because he's very tired right now. That being said, crocheting projects take a very long time, so I'm sure he'll be a lot more active later. He's cute. Now he's biting me. The thing that I want to crochet today is, I think they're called Mimikyus? Mimikyu? I don't know. It's a Pokemon, and I'm not well versed in the newer Pokemon. In the past, I've crocheted a lot of Pokemon because they're really fun creatures to create. And someone asked me recently if I could make a Mimikyu, like a keychain, and today we're gonna see if I can, I guess. These are all of the colors I'm planning on using. I think they're all the colors I need. I did the same thing that I did in my previous video, which is drawing out kind of what I need to create. I'm gonna come to you. Basically, as you can see, there's a little picture. Focus. This is the little picture of the end product, hopefully. It's gonna be 10 pieces instead of, I think, over 40 pieces that Deku Link was, so he should be a lot easier. On the face, he does have some stitched features that I'm going to be doing by hand. That shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, hopefully today it will be not as long as it was last time. Last time it was like an 8-hour thing, and I was not expecting that. So I hope that this time it'll be like around 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, so now I'm gonna actually crochet the thing. So just like last time, I'm planning on talking during the crocheting part of this video. I had some subjects written down. I didn't want to go too off topic, even though I don't really have topics, if that makes sense. Because I was asked if I could make this as sort of a semi-commission. It's not really a commission, it was more phrased like, if you would make that, I would probably buy it. So it's not really a commission, I don't count that as one. But I have dealt with commissions in the past where people would ask me to make stuff, and I would do that for an agreed upon price before I made it. And that was kind of a bad idea, because what ended up happening was I would spend a lot more time on what I was making than I felt I was getting paid for. I would spend 5 hours on something and get $8, and I don't know about you, but like $1 an hour is not really fun to work for. I have always had that issue of finding the line between what is too much to ask for and what's not enough, because you have to value yourself and your time. And that just is a big problem with handmade things, because anybody can just go buy like a toy or something and it's not going to be as expensive as what you make if you want to, I want to say truly value your time. Like I mentioned before, I have crocheted for about 10 years. And so the very first time that I was really working for commissions, I think was, I want to say 8th grade, but it might have been high school actually. I don't know. It was like between 8th and 9th, maybe 10th grade. I had done crocheted things before for people, but this was the first time where I was planning on taking a lot of commissions at the same time. My best friend had a class, a business class, where she was supposed to bring stuff in and sell it, and whoever sold the most, I think, won some sort of prize or extra credit or something. She decided to bring me in on this project, and we were going to crochet things together, because I'd also taught her a little bit how to crochet things. And so we took a lot of orders down. I think she ended up winning because, like I said, crocheted stuff is kind of expensive, and you'd probably pay more for that than the pine cones with googly eyes that people were making at this like middle school, high school range business class. We had written down for a lot of money, but to be honest with you, I don't think we went through even half of the commissions that were on that list, and I still kind of feel bad for that. You know, you kind of promise somebody something and then you just don't deliver, but it was way too much at the time. It was just overwhelming because I didn't know where I was gonna find all the time for that, and so I just didn't find any time for that, and I didn't do it. I never really got anybody really hot on my case about that one, because no one actually paid us. They had just, you know, sort of pledged money, like, if you make this, I'll pay you this amount of money. So I feel bad for not going through with that, but I also don't feel absolutely terrible because I didn't take money without giving a product. That never happened. But I have made something and given it to something without being paid myself. So I did sell a few things in high school, not a whole lot, but that was kind of expected. And I didn't really market myself a whole lot in high school. I would kind of mention the fact that I crocheted things on commission, but for the most part, I didn't sell a lot. I did sell a few things kind of here and there for not very much money at all. When I left high school, I had, I would say, a considerable amount more free time than I had before, and I spent that time crocheting and making patterns and doing things not necessarily for commission, but for myself. In college, I did get a lot more commissions, and by a lot, I mean, it wasn't a ton. Comparatively, it was a lot from high school. I did have really good customers because they were all people that I knew. But there's a problem selling to people that you know, and that is, one, feeling bad that you are asking for a certain amount of money, because that really messes with your time value. But you also don't want to make your friends feel like you want a ton of money from them. I don't know, it's weirdly tricky. And two, because you know them, you tend to have a trust with them that they will follow through with the semi-verbal contract of, when I give you this, you're gonna pay me. And that's not always the case. And that is what happened to me twice. One of my first years at college, I had this friend who really liked what I did. He asked me if I could make him this little fish keychain that I think he wanted to hang from his review mirror for some reason. You know, that's not too hard. So I made this tiny little fish keychain, and he paid me for it, and I gave it to him. And he asked me if I could make him something else after I had delivered that to him. The second time around, he asked for an octopus pillow, which he had seen me make before, and so he wanted one of those. And I thought, well, all right, he's obviously good for it because I made him something else and he paid me for it, so I'll just go ahead with this octopus pillow. So it takes hours, you know, it's kind of huge because it's a pillow, and you use a lot of stuffing and materials for that, and I finally finished it, and I was really excited to show it to him. So I brought it over and I showed it to him, and he said he didn't have the money then, but he would definitely get it to me, and he asked if he could keep the pillow. And I thought, you know, it's fine, he'll definitely pay me, I believe him, I'll just give him the pillow now without payment and he will pay me later. Later came and went, I think years ago, because it's been a very long time and he never paid me for it. I think I mentioned it to him a couple times and he's told me, oh, I definitely need to pay you for that, or I should get you something from the Cheesecake Factory or something, like a trade like that. I don't know. None of that ever happened. That was the first time that I had given something away without receiving payment, and I felt kind of stupid. I still kind of feel stupid that I did that, and I said, well, never again. I will never, ever do that again. And, well, second time, here we go. When I worked custodial in college, my boss that I originally started out with moved, and so we got a new boss. This guy kind of acted immature, and I could tell from the way that a lot of the people in higher positions acted around him. They didn't trust him a whole lot, but I didn't see why personally, because he seemed fun and he was a fun boss. Of course, while we're getting to know each other, I mentioned that I crochet toys and stuff, and I've done it for my previous boss. And he asked me, because this is around Christmas time, if I could make a couple of toys for his kids. So I agree, and I set out to make a Yoshi and a BB-8. I absolutely loved how those things turned out. I mentioned the BB-8 in my last video. I spent a long time on these things. We discussed money and how much they were going to be while I was still working on them, and he wanted to haggle my price down because he felt it was a little too high. I didn't feel it was too high because of how long each product took, and it just sort of went on like that. I left for the holidays, and I didn't have time to send these things out before I left. So I told my sister to send them to him because I had his address, but I should never have done that before getting payment. And that's a thing that you should know. Just because you work with somebody and they're your boss and you think they're reputable doesn't mean they're reputable, okay? He left the job, not because of this. He found a better job for him. He left the job and basically blocked me on pretty much everything when I tried to ask him for the money for these things. I 100% never got any money, and I gave him some really nice looking products. I don't know if you would agree with me, but I absolutely loved how they turned out, and I felt really upset that he would do that to me. And I even had coworkers try to convince him to pay me, and he would not speak to them. Anyway, I really hope if you are planning on selling anything, whether that be something you crochet or some other piece of artwork, or I don't know, anything you make sure you have payment before you hand over the product, because it's a terrible feeling to know that you have spent time and gotten nothing back for it when you were promised something back for it. You know, because it's different. If I give presents that I crochet all the time, but I already know that is a thing I'm gonna give away. It's not something that I am believing I'm gonna get something back for. If you're watching this and you know who you are, know I'm still a little bit mad that you haven't paid me for these things that I made you. And you know, if you happen to see this and you feel bad for doing that to me, I don't know, maybe pay me and I will say you're redeemed. Anyway, I hope you had a fun time listening to me talk. I'm gonna get into the final product now. So here it is. I finished it. As you can tell, I'm wearing different clothes than in the intro, so yes, this is a different day. That's just sort of how I crochet. I don't typically sit down and crochet everything in one smooth motion. My cat is attacking my camera. Not hurt my hand. I really like how it turned out. I've compared him to my Pikachu that I've done before. Color is obviously different, but in my research, that's kind of what they look like. I also wanted to apologize for how long it's been since my last video. I did start a different video and didn't end up finishing it. Maybe I'll finish it someday. As I said before, I'm trying to get in a groove, and I was doing alright for like the first week and a half. I mean, I'm just gonna work on it. It's something new. It's like a new thing to get into, so this project was a lot easier than Deku Link, my last project. This ended up being like 10 pieces and some hand stitch work. He took, I would say, 3 to 4 hours. Hopefully I'll do another video soon, and I will have more ideas on what to crochet. If you have any ideas, send them my way. I love creative puzzles, and that's exactly what these end up being. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!